So the end of feminist Marvel, woke political Marvel is over. This probably includes this is gonna stop first with the MCU, which is the most popular when this is the Marvel series, but will probably extend to the comic books as well. But Marvel is crumbling. Disney's Bob Chapek with Zek's Kevin Feige's woke approach to Marvel. This probably is going afterwards. And no, we're not gonna say it's going after the flop known as the Eternals. The fact that the Eternals underperformed Shang-Chi significantly, even though it was supposed to be this big Avengers-esque film, basically. The trailers look boring, and the movie is quote unquote woke according to the Phantom Menace. And a lot of people are unhappy with the film. The fact that they have to flood the reviews on Metacritic and IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, Letterboxd to even attempt to save this movie, or even that is failing. Even that is failing as well. A movie that people don't like is here, but YouTube rumor comes from YouTuber Doomcock, who previously offered up information about the problems surrounding Captain Marvel, and the fact that he's being dropped from the title, which is true. The movie is now called The Marvels. And also he said that basically the Star Wars Rogue Squadron was delayed. Guess what? That was delayed as well. The following information also reads prior that this is, follows, movies like The Eternals bombing at the box office. Shang-Chi actually overperformed. They expected Shang-Chi to open to like 65 million yen. And Shang-Chi basically performed like Doctor Strange, well, domestically. But Black Widow technically did underperform because some people were expecting this movie to gross $100 million its first weekend. Even though Marvel Solo Flicks and the rest of Civil War or Iron Man, okay, the rest is Captain America or Iron Man or Thor Ragnarok, which is the third Thor movie, usually Marvel Solo Flicks rarely pass 100 million. With the exception of Spider-Man, Far From Home, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel, yeah, Marvel Solo Flicks have gone more and more popular, but they typically don't use. But typically in the past, they really don't really make that much money. But the movie around this is the Eternals. The Eternals is the what is basically the final no-no. Okay, was this why Black Panther 2 is having production troubles. Okay, thus so happened. Okay, Feige's report, I wrote 2 years. Feige reports is going to destroy the MCU according to this rumor. Bob Chapek is now even saying this is enough. Enough is enough. Money speaks more than Twitter. Money, they're finally realizing this. Money speaks more than Twitter. Sony warned that the hard way of Ghostbusters, and Disney's gonna warn the hard way. Through the, Disney's gonna warn us the hard way, of course. Okay, Pixar is, of course, quote unquote, going woke as well. Disney as a whole is trying to, push these agendas in the movie, like a Mulan, trying to push a feminist agenda, and movies like The Eternals trying to push, oh my god, humans are so, diversity, blah, 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 people are sick of this stuff. People want good movies, and movies like Captain Marvel, yes, the movie made money, but they're basically sidelining Brie Larson in the movie. They're sidelining her for Miss Marvel, probably because she's not popular. And also they're sidelining her for Monica Rambeau's Captain Marvel too. So they're gonna sideline her for two other renditions of Captain Marvel, and it's so funny that they're both non-white versions of Captain Marvel. And I wouldn't be surprised if both characters become more popular than Brie Larson's Captain Marvel at this point. Because Brie Larson's Captain Marvel is so unpopular among the public that she only had 15 minutes in Endgame. She only had 15 minutes in Endgame, okay? And without further evidence of how Thor and Hulk were in the movies, we saw Thor and Golf become goofy lesser versions of the strongest self. Again, Thor is always about like the comedy, but the Thor series always had a slight comedic tone to it, but Hulk basically being sane as well. And of course, Hulk is basically, being replaced of She-Hulk, which again, She-Hulk is a pretty is another pretty popular character in the Marvel universe verse as well. And yeah, the there was yeah, and basically this is just people that funny fact is that even Kevin Feige is doomed. Okay, the fact that the CEO of Disney is unhappy with his approach of Marvel, which is probably why all the Marvel movies got delayed. Okay, we saw this massive delay for all the Marvel movies. I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Chapek says, "Get rid of all this stuff out of the movies, or else you're being fired as Marvel director. You're being fired as Marvel director, basically." And even then, the Disney almost foremost cares about money more, which is probably why they didn't let Kathleen Kennedy influence the Mandalorian. Yeah, they didn't let her make it into whatever the sequel trilogy is now. Most of the time, I do not like the Phantom Menace. Like, the whole thing of Black Widow was ridiculous. But it is true. People don't like the sequel trilogy. People like Star Wars The Mandalorian series. People don't like Ghostbusters 2016. People do like Ghostbusters Afterlife, but judging based off early reviews. And it's the same thing with the movie I criticized for no reason in the past of E55. That's more Charlie's Angels than prior to Charlie's Angels 2019 movie. It seems that we're starting to finally move away from this garbage wokeness, which has been pushed back throughout most of this year. Which I said a couple years ago, Twitter is gonna try to hang on to the last grasp of power. Twitter had the time. Twitter had the time of power, trying to change characters, trying to change movies, trying to change games into what they want. Giving games like The Last of Us Part 2 Game of the Year. Giving Nomadland Movie of the Year, even though nobody watched it. And, and companies are starting to realize that this is just stupid. Appealing towards Twitter is completely and utterly stupid. James Bond will not be changed as long as the original owners whom created James Bond won't allow it to happen. Now, Bob Chapek doesn't want the Iron Man to become the next The Last Jedi, the next Ghostbusters 2016, the next hugely divisive movie. Again, Marvel makes a ton of money for Disney, and Disney does not want to lose that cash cow. Disney doesn't know what to do with Star Wars now. They don't want Marvel to return to Star Wars. Again, I think Black Widow not doing too well is because of Marvel fatigue. People are probably getting sick of Marvel movies, but Shang-Chi did pretty well, and Black Widow did meh at the box office. It didn't lose money because of Disney Plus, but it didn't really do too well at the theaters. Again, Black Widow did come out when people were still worried of going to the theaters. People were still concerned about COVID, and the Delta variant did come around. But basically, it's over for Kevin Feige. It's over for Disney. It's basically the recent lawsuit by Scarlett Johansson against Disney may have elicited kind of huge kind of a 4K test that Chapek is playing. The end of woke Marvel is over. And it's over before it begins. Wokeness is dying. We all know it is. Okay? I do not support wokeness, and I definitely do not support cancel culture. You can definitely see it by the most recent elections that were held in our country. The non-woke party, the Republicans, won massively. Youngkin won in Virginia. People are pushing back against wokeness. People want a return to family and culture, and for movies to be enjoyed by people, and for video games to be what they were meant to be, an escape from society and politics. Yes, there are games that do. Yes, some games will have politics in them. Games that are political thrillers will always exist, but they have to have fictional politics, not real world politics. And the end of woke Marvel is here, and we're always seeing the end of Twitter's dominance over our culture. Cancel culture is losing as well. with they have been unable to cancel Dave Chappelle, they have been unable to cancel him. He still has a show up, and he still doesn't have, and he still has a job. So they have been unable to cancel Dave Chappelle. And also, let's not forget, very recently, Trump is making his own social media platform. So the end of wokeness is coming to an end. The end of wokeness. And this supposed thing happening to Kevin Feige, who will probably be unseated at the seat of Marvel, they'll probably get someone else who basically will make Marvel just your typical superhero flair that most people can enjoy. Not this decisive political bullshit that they've been trying to push in the movies. Okay? And that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.